Hello geometry students, welcome to a series of videos for your study guide. We're going to be working on Unit 1 study guide to help you prepare for your test. We're going to be looking at the first problem. Now, don't get your study guide confused. The top section was for notes, for vocabulary, and for understanding symbols. If you don't have those notes, feel free to pause this video and get those notes from a partner or a friend, okay? All right, now that you have those notes, we're going to go ahead and get started with the first problem on our study guide, which says, given a line of reflection L, create a reflection of point D and label it D prime. So first of all, I want to identify where my point L is. So point D. Point D is right here. If you look at your screen, you should see my mouse moving. So point D is right there. I know for a reflection to be a reflection, it has to be at an equal distance, meaning the same distance from the line of reflection. So let's go ahead, see that my point D is about that many steps away. So my new point D is going to be around there. And like I said, I'm going to label this point D prime. And ta-da, that is it for my first problem. All right, since this first problem was very quick and brief, let me jump onto the second problem. The second problem says, select all the ways we can describe the rigid transformation that takes AEFD, so look at the mouse on the screen, AEFD to EBCF. So that means we're taking the square that's on the left-hand side and trying to overlap it with the square that is on the right-hand side, okay? So let's look at our options. The first option says, translate the figure by length segment DFC. So if you look at the mouse on the screen, DFC is actually this distance. So that's telling me I have to move my right square by that amount. If I move the right square by that amount, that means I'm going from here, because that's where one point is, to all the way over here. So that means my new square should be somewhere out here. Question, do the squares now overlap, or are they still next to each other? Yeah, they're next to each other, right? So option A is false. Option A does not work. Okay, so we can cross off A. Let's look at option B. Option B says translate the figure by length of segment DF. Well, I have D, whoops, let me see right here. Come on, technical difficulties, there we go. I have D right here and I have F right here. That means I'm moving the whole square by this distance. Now the squares will overlap, okay? So I can't overlap them like that, but they should be overlapping like how I drew my image, okay? I want to apologize because I don't have my tools with me. So everything that you see right now drawn in this video will be done by freehand, okay? So option B is true, okay? Let's look at option C. C says reflect the figure along line EF. Well, first of all, line EF, if you look at the mouse, line EF is the one that splits the squares right down the middle. If I reflect the left square over the right square over that center line, they are going to overlap. So that makes this statement true. C is also another way that we can get the one square onto the other. Let's look at option D. Option D says rotate by 180 degrees along the point G. Now, let's say I have, let's say I have a square here. Oh no, you know what? This works perfect. Let's say I have these two remotes, okay? I have these two remotes. They're next to each other. And I rotate it by 180 degrees. If I rotate this one, the one on my left, by 180 degrees, that means I'm spinning it, and now boom, they overlap. So by rotating the left square around point G by 180 degrees, they do overlap, okay? So D is the right choice. Now let's look at option E. Just because option E is the last option, we still have to double check. It doesn't mean that it is automatically wrong. Let's see what happens. Well, first of all, it says rotate by 90 degrees clockwise around G. Again, my two remotes. It says rotate around G by 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise means to the right, right? So if I'm rotating to the right, that means I'm taking my remote and I'm spinning it 90 degrees. This would be a total of 90 degrees. What happened with my remotes? Instead of being like this, now it's like this. I'm going to draw it on the screen right now as well. Did the squares overlap? If I'm rotating by 90 degrees, sorry, give me 1 second here. That means my square is going to end up looking something like that. Okay? So I have a square here. So I don't know what's happening. There we go. There's my square. So there's my square. The squares do not overlap, so it cannot be E. We have successfully completed the first and the second problem in this one video for our study guide. If I went a little too fast or you missed some information, the great thing about videos is that you can rewind and rewatch. So if you need to do that, go for it. But if you're still lost with the video, feel free to raise your hand and I'll be more than happy to help you out with the problem that you are having, okay? See you in the next video.